Hey,
mamas.
mamas.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm Jess.
I'm Erica.
Um, so this lady actually did Erica's makeup for her wedding, and I hope that one day, if I ever get married, she could do mine.
Mama's Code.
So guys, Carolina, you may know her as Lady Carolina on Instagram. She is a makeup artist and a mama of a boy. Is he like almost a teenager now?
Yes, no me lo recuerde, please.
Oh my
Gonna be
God.
10 years old and I don't even know how to deal with it.
Can you see some changes already?
Big time.
Oh, I'm not ready for that.
No.
Be scared, girls.
I refuse. So we're going to play a 5-second rule to add more pressure to you.
I didn't sign up for this.
But you have 5 seconds to answer. And it's like the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? So name 3 things you can't do in the dark. Go. You already lost.
6 seconds.
What can you not do in the dark though?
Can't do your makeup. You can't bath in the dark.
Right, okay, next. I don't think I'm good at this, you know.
No, se le nota.
Next.
Name 3 things you do before going bed. Go.
Skin routine, brush my teeth, kiss my baby's sleep.
Name 3 words you tell your 14-year-old self.
Love, respect, love again, because that counts.
Okay, you should be really good at this one.
Oh, pressure.
What 3 products can you not live without? Go.
Concealer, eyebrow pencil, and mascara.
So, thank you for coming and being on the podcast. I remember once me and Jess were talking and I was like, oh my God, I heard the most fascinating story. I need to get her on. And I remember for the longest time, I kept telling you, I was like, you need to come on. And you were like, nah, I'm too scared. Until one day it happened. And when you said, I think we have to do it, I promise you, peed myself a little bit because I was like, oh, we're going to have her on.
It was peer pressure.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, no, I think, I don't know, a lot of people told me, you know what, you should kind of speak out a bit more of like what you've lived, how you've done it. And I get a lot of women asking me as well, like, well, how did you do this? And how did you get along with that? And, you know, let it out a little bit.
What we love to do here is praise the woman for the woman that she is and not the mom that she is, basically. So we obviously know that you are an amazing makeup artist and you've made yourself a living out of it. Tell us a bit about that. How did it start? Were you always into makeup like a little girl, or did you study it? How was that?
I mean, I've always liked it. Today, speaking to mom, I was like, Mom, how did I actually get into makeup? Like, how did you know I liked makeup? She was like, Carolina, literally at 3 years old, you grabbed all your grandma's makeup and put it on a white deal, a bedding set. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, literally. And we found you con el labial, the lipstick, all over your face. And it was a red one. And we screamed and this and that. And I was like, oh my God, seriously. Like, I remember from very young age, just always wanting to do someone's makeup, someone's hair. I would like literally rip my mom's hair out of her scalp and all sorts. From there, I knew I liked it in school. Everyone knew me, la peladita con pelo crespo, and always had like gel on my hair and always like, you know, into the whole thing. So obviously I had Jaden and I just couldn't do college anymore, couldn't do my A-levels. I got shipped to Colombia for 3 months. And when I came back, I obviously had Jaden. I didn't have nothing else to do. And I did a little course, a level 1 course, I think it was. And then I just really enjoyed that one day of makeup. I was just like, I really like this. Like, I did my friend's makeup and she just looked absolutely amazing. And in my eyes, it was amazing. Quien sabe how she felt. But in my eyes, I was like, yeah, this looks amazing. However, I don't know, my family, maybe, I thought my family wouldn't think as makeup as a career. So I kind of thought, nah, I need to do something else. So I tried to get into photography. However, when I went to apply for photography, they said that I didn't have any experience, that I basically couldn't do it, full stop. From there, I actually got into a business course or something. So basically I just got into different courses and stuff. until eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to do makeup, see how it goes. And then from there, I did a college course of level 2 and level 3, makeup for theatre, movies, and stuff like that, and also beauty makeup, including hair. And yeah, since then, it's just amazing, really. I just love it. I actually absolutely love it.
Well, you're amazing at it. Every time I see you do new looks, I'm just like, wow. Like, honestly, even when you do your own, like, I remember for me, like, Jess is like, can vouch for me. I love a YouTube tutorial, and I always look at yours and I try to do the same, and then I'm like, Jess, it doesn't look the same. Like, what's going on?
I don't know why she still tries, to be honest. But you know what? For me, it was the Grinch look that you did over Christmas. Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was really cool, yeah.
Thank you.
When did you get to a point where you thought, I'm just gonna actually do this, like, as a living? Did you just start by doing friends' birthday makeup or something? Because
Yeah,
you know what?
literally.
It's a bit, sorry, I was gonna say, because there's a lot to trust in a makeup artist. Because if it's for a special occasion, the last thing you want is to take a picture and then have that, what is it, flashback, and like all the powder on your face. It's a lot to actually trust someone to, because it can look amazing when you're doing it, but when it comes to the real deal.
I mean, my first ever client was my madrina's daughter for her 15th, and I was literally shitting my pants. I was just like, I'm gonna like ruin this, but then I was just like, no, let me just like kind of like chill and just take it in and enjoy it, because you know, when you enjoy something, then it just kind of just flows. I mean, obviously it was my first one, but she liked it. We were all happy with it, and yeah, I guess, yeah, it is a big responsibility, to be fair. And that's why, I don't know, I just like to take my time. I don't like anyone like, you know, the whole lot around when there's like big parties or big reunions and stuff like that. I'm just like, I just want the client to be like relaxed and everyone to be, you know, relaxed, so we can all enjoy this. And it looks perfect that by the end of the night. So,
Well, that's true, because my friend here got drunk on her wedding, and like within the first hour, and by the end of the night, when we were all waiting for our cabs outside the venue, her makeup was still on fleek. It was like, please don't rub it off, because like, please, when you're having sex and putting your face to the bed, please don't, because you're gonna smudge the look.
can we talk about the time when Erica walked out of my house?
2 different eyes.
Oh yeah, when we were doing your
Yeah, it was absolutely
trialing.
amazing.
So proud of myself. I walked out like this and I was like, what are you doing? Please stop.
Yeah, why not? I literally, you know, when you trial something out, and I'd be like, which one do I like? I remember our friend had just had a baby, and when we walked into her house, she was like, what's going on? And I was like, well, I'm still quite not sure which one I'm gonna go for, so brought the makeup to you so you can kind of give me she was just like, wow, you are something else. But that's how confident you make people feel. Like, for me, I felt like, had I not liked it, or had I felt a bit like I wouldn't, you know, like you just don't feel yourself. But when something's done out of love and you feel like, wow, like there's a big change, you don't really care. Like, I remember getting compliments on the train. People would just be like, wow. Or de pronto pensaban que estaba loca, but like, it was nice at the end of the day.
How has this affected you during like all this freaking pandemic craziness?
I'm over it. I want my old life back. I'm just done with it.
Like, you can't exactly do people's makeup via Zoom.
As much as I'd love to, but no. I don't know. I don't know how, honestly, like, it's just crazy how much the world has changed in nearly enough a year now. Obviously for beauticians and makeup artists and, you know, nail technicians, everything, it's just so difficult. Obviously we live by this, so it's just yeah, heartbreaking really to watch everything just crumble. Like, people that love their jobs, and we're happy to go, you know, to people's houses and do this and do that, even though, yeah, I cry with that carrying that bloody bag up and down stairs and stuff, but it's still a part of us, you know, and it's like something's being taken away. Plus, also having a kid at home 24/7. Please, someone talk about this.
Mate, my kid today, I just don't, you know that you've been through it, yeah? Why is it that they get to a certain age and they want to talk hasta por los codos? And it's like, can I just let my like brain think for a minute? Like, I don't want to hear you. Like today he was like, we were trying to do work. It was about a bus. We were doing something about a bus. He was like, and I was like, what's up? I wonder what the Triceratops is thinking. I'm like, what? And like, it was just a dinosaur laying on the floor. And I was like, what about it? He was like, it's just, he looks a bit bored. And I'm like, why, are you bored? And he was like, a little bit, yes. Es que tengo perecita. I was like, you know how many breaks he asked for? At least 20. And I was like, do you ask your teacher for this much breaks? He was like, no, pero es que hoy sí tengo perecita. And I was like, what is up with your perecita? Am I boring? Like, what? Nah, I can't. And I took him for a walk and he was singing. And like, I thought, oh, no, I can't do this. Like, I can't. Like, nah, I need someone to take him back. Is Jaden doing virtual learning?
Home packs or something like this, which I don't agree with, because I think they should be, physically being taught, as you said, through Zoom or whatever, but they're just sending them like packs, like homework, here you go. As a parent, you can't keep saying like that. You just can't. Like, there's no chance you can sit there like for 6 hours, 4 hours, teaching them something that they really don't want to learn. Because when kids, they're not interested, they're just all over the place. I don't know about mine, like yours, but mine, si él no le gusta algo, he'll just be like there, like mirando para las estrellas, al cielo, I don't know, it's just somewhere else. So it's not working for me. It's a no from me.
And also because they actually see you guys as their moms, and like that teacher has authority. They know that you've got the authority, but they don't see you as the teaching authority, basically. So they're just like, oh, well. And also for them, it's hard because they're actually at home in their comfort zone where they don't need to be sitting up straight with their legs folded or straight back, or
For flip's sake, Jaden, you've been writing for I don't know how many years. You do know how to write a T. Oh yes, mum, but this one looks like this. I'm like, no. Or write this letter properly, or that number looks like a letter. I don't know. I'm just over it. I don't even want to. Tomorrow, I think I'm just gonna send him to his dad's because I can't deal with it. Honestly, I can't.
I wish I could send mine to their dads as well. That would just be here. Nothing changes. It's really like, I remember with Joel, what like infuriates me is that there's a word, so he gets asked a question, and when he's answering the question, he's using obviously some of the same words, and I'm like, so where does the bus take you? So I'm like, the bus takes you, and then he's like, how do you write takes? And I'm like, we just read it in the question. He was like, I wonder where, and I'm like, no, I can't. You're taking the piss, mate. Absolutely taking the piss. I can't. I just don't have the patience for this. And I try so hard, and it's like I feel like he's scared of me, because every time like he doesn't know something, he's like, but no shouting, okay, mommy? And I'm like wow. Is it like that? Oh no.
It's so funny because Joel is 6 and Jaden is 10, did you say? So imagine, like, nothing changes. This is actually making me believe when you ask, when people say to you it gets better and the other person's like, no, it really doesn't. This is like the example that it just doesn't in some cases.
No, honestly, my great grandmom, she says that kids are forever. Like, it doesn't matter how old they are, how many kids they have, how many grandchildren they have, they will still be your kid. And if you need to smack them, you will smack them at whatever age they have. Honestly, and it doesn't get easy. I don't know who said that.
Mama, I love you.
How did you feel when you first found out you were pregnant?
Oh my God, what did I not feel? It felt like everything just felt on me. So my mom had been, I didn't know this, by the way, but my mom had been checking the toilet bins for I don't know how many months, every month, to see if I got my period. Did I know mums did this? No. She'll check. And then one time she was just like, Carolina, where's your period? I was like, I don't know. It's coming. Like, I'm sure it's coming. And obviously you get your little like period cramps and stuff. And I was like, Mom, I've got my period cramps. Like, chill, like, relax. You're taking it too far ahead. Like, just chill. Paso 2 semanas, 2 weeks. Mom still every day, Carolina, your period. I was like, oh, flip's sake. One day she woke me up. She was like, se levanta ya. You get up of that bed right now and you go to the GP. I remember it was early as well. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, you need to go GP right now. I was like, For what? I was like, I'm not ill. Like, what's wrong? Why am I going GP? She was like, yeah, you need to go GP and get yourself tested, get a pregnancy test. And I was just like, what? No. Like, in my head, I was just like, no, there's no way. My mom's just over exaggerating. But my mom is never the type to stay like in bed all day. This time she was still in bed. Durante el día, like she just wanted to be in bed. I was like, something's up. Anyway, I went GP, got the test, and they gave me like little test kit thing. Went into the bathroom, did it there, came up positive. It was positive, and I was just like, what? Like, no, this can't be right. I went to the reception lady. I was like, listen, sorry, but this isn't right. Like, this is not right. Can you give me another one? Because this is obviously not correct. Like, you need to, I need like a blood one or something, because this is just, no. And then she was like, darling, I'm sorry, but it is. If you want, I'll give you another one and I'll give you an appointment with a doctor. You can speak to the doctor. And I was like, all right then. Went inside to see the doctor. And then he was like, yeah, congratulations. And I was just like, what? I was just like, no, you still haven't given me another test. He was like, yeah, they've given you another one. Go home, do it. But however, this is 99.9 accurate. And I was just like, what? And that's where it proper sank in. I was just like, I'm going to go home and do another one. It's still going to be positive. What am I going to do now? Like I was in denial at first, but then I was just like, no, wait a second, Carolina, like, come on, keep up. And then the man was just like, yeah, the doctor, he gave me like leaflets and he was like, you can either like, you've got this option, you've got that option. And I was just like, oh my God. Called my friend and she was just like, imagine it's a girl, imagine it's a boy. She was all excited for me. I was like, girl, do you not see what we're in now? Like, like this is real. And but from there onwards, I said, it's a boy. And I was so like, yep, it's a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy. Until the day of the scan that I found that he was actually a boy. I was like, yeah, he's a boy. But yeah, that day was just, it was a lot. Telling my mom was, I think, the hardest. When I came in and she was just like, y entonces, like she was already at the door, like y entonces. And I was like, what am I gonna do? And I was like, Mom, I didn't even tell her that I had already done the test. I was like, oh, they gave me this. She was like, go do it then, hurry up then, what are you waiting for? I did it, and then obviously I came out with the little stick thing, and then she was just like, well, what are you gonna do? And I think that was the part that obviously seeing my mum so heartbroken, like it was the hardest. That and my dad.
How old were you?
I was 16. I think I found out around November, October times. Yeah, October times. So I was, yeah, I completed the 16. And a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, por poquito le celebran los 15, embarazada, digo, like.
But so, like, your mum knew you were having sex already?
Yeah, she did, because so relationship with Jay's dad was kind of prohibido. Our parents had said literally we're not allowed to be together. But obviously, kids being kids, and when you get told not to do something, it's kind of like you want to do it more. She knew though. I think she knew that we would like still see each other and stuff.
What was the outcome? How did you tell Jay's dad?
That's another one. My mom literally got me. She was like, "Tenga ese teléfono. Grab that phone right now. I'm calling now." I was like, oh my God, like it was disaster after disaster. I was just like, what am I gonna do? And then I called him. I was like, you know what, I need to see you. Went to see him. He was with his friend. Both of them just looked at me and just cracked up laughing. I was like, are you serious? I'm here like dying inside and you guys are just laughing at me. I guess the immaturity at 16, like what can you expect at the end of the day? Like, that's where it was. And yeah, from there, my mom, but he didn't say nothing to me. He was just like, okay, like, and just como que la risa and the nerves and everything just kind of took over him. But then my mom called him when I got home and she was just like, I give you 48 hours to tell your mom and your dad. And then that's when it got serious. Mom literally was just like, if you don't do that in 48 hours, then I'm going to go myself and I'm going to tell your parents. And it was just like, oh shit, got real.
No, wait, can I just take a deep breath?
Oh, honestly, I'm putting myself in your position and I'm shaking. I'm like, oh my God, como le voy a decir a mi mamá?
No, honestly, because say us, like, we were in this situation where we were more grown up than like we were in our 20s, you know. So for us to, if anything, our parents were asking us like, when are we having kids, like both myself and Erica. So for us it was much easier.
Not for me. My dad cried.
But
He stopped talking to me.
if anything, like Carolina was saying, you know, you're past 50, you know, you're past 18, you know, you're in your 20s, you're a little bit more mature. Yeah, you're still their baby in their eyes, but it's probably much easier to say, look, I'm pregnant, rather than, you know, I'm 16, my teenager years have just started. Like in our 20s, you know, Erica had finished uni, was going on to work, like, and myself, I was, you know, in a stable relationship, in a stable job. So, but we still feel that, like, oh, what? And it's that thing of like, how am I going to tell them? So being in your shoes, like, I'm shitting bricks for you, mate. And then you go to tell the baby father and he laughs. Like, I get it, you're young and everyone reacciona diferente, right? Do you see me standing here laughing?
Exactly. Exactly. No,
Did you
trust me.
like,
And I spoke to him about it the other day as well. I was like, what were you thinking? Honestly, like, what do you think at that age? And you're just laughing at me. I know, yeah, you're 16. No, actually, I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot to tell you, he was a couple months younger than me, but he was a whole year, like academic year, younger than me. Yeah, so I was just like, I told him the other day, I was just like, how dare you? You know, like you actually sat there and laughed at me. I was like, I'm sorry, but you know, I understand. We were literally kids. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his other reaction would have been, because what could he have done at the end of the day? He wasn't going to go and say, okay, let's go live together and do this and that. He was only 15 or 16. I don't remember how old he was. But yeah, it was really, really scary, especially when my mom went and said, right there, she went marching down his parents' house, like literally, like proper, like you could see like El Umo coming out of her head. She was so mad. And yeah, telling his parents was another story. So yeah, it was just a bit crazy. It was like literally living una novela.
well, it's the thing that they've told you can't be together, but here we are telling you that we're having a baby.
And at some point, I thought, no, I should be on Jeremy Kyle show. At some point, I need to be on Jeremy Kyle show.
So did he not manage to tell his parents? Your mum went and told them.
So I think he told them minutes before my mum marching into their house. As soon as we got there, they were just like, kind of like, what are you doing here, kind of thing. And then, yeah, my mom was just like, yeah, well, your son needs to tomar responsabilidad and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't much difference telling them or not telling them. He was studying and there wasn't much really that he could do, really.
Did you feel rejection at
Oh,
that
big
point?
time. There was like a silent rejection. It wasn't like complete like ban, but there was a lot of like people talking behind my back. Obviously, now looking back at it, I feel really, really bad for my parents, because they were literally the ones that had to like face it all. I would just kind of be like, well, you know, you're young and you just kind of think, like, I don't care, se me resbala. But obviously, they did, like, there was a lot of people, family members as well, that would like be kind of like, oh, I don't want my kids around her because she's not a good influence for my daughters or for my kids and this and that. But then yet again, I feel like some people shouldn't talk before their kids actually go through stuff. And I guess that's kind of the rejection that I got. Apart from that, I had a lot of family and friends that did actually support me along the way. I had my auntie, my grandparents. I don't know if you heard the part where I said that my mum literally shipped me to Colombia for 3 months. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, she was just like, yeah, you just need to get away. It was kind of like a promise that she had done. She was like, literally, si ustedes me llega a llegar aquí embarazada, I'm sending you to Colombia. And that was the worst thing that you could do to me, literally send me to Colombia. Because it was literally just stay in una casa in Bogotá con mis abuelitos, literally 24/7. Don't go anywhere, just stay in the house. And yeah, that's what I did for 3 months. Cried myself, like literally to bed every day, like thinking, oh, cuando salgo de aquí.
You know, when you came back, did you have a bump?
Yes, I had the most cutest bump.
What was your parents' reaction then?
I mean, I think for my mom to see it physically, I think that's when she was just like, oh, like, you know, like it kind of like melted her. Because it was just like that sudden bam, like she's got a belly. And I think that's when she kind of just took me into her arms again, and she was just like, okay, I'm gonna take care of you and this and that. Um, but yeah, it was actually really cute when I came back with my little bump. And
How did you find your pregnancy overall? Like, obviously, it was quite traumatic to start off with because it was very sudden, and it's not like you were looking for it. And obviously, it must have been a stressful time. Yes, you were very like, whatever, it's what's done is done, but like you say, you did feel a bit of guilt that your parents had to endure all the, oh, he said, she said. And like, let's be real, like at that time the comments might have not been getting to you personally, but deep down in your head you could have been like, why does everyone decide to judge? Why doesn't no one try to like stop and listen maybe to what's happened, you know? And like, this can happen to anyone, you know, even when you're on contraception you can get pregnant. So it's not like, oh well, you know, you're the antichrist now because it's happened. You just kind of, you know, just have to move on.
yeah, it was my pregnancy was beautiful, to be fair, apart from all the problems and all the heartache, all the like the tears and stuff. It was beautiful. I actually enjoyed my pregnancy, and that's why I always say like, oh, I'd love to be pregnant again. Just because that first experience was actually gorgeous. Like, and from when I started feeling him, I'd always speak to him, and I never had like, you know, morning sickness, or I had not one bit of pain, not nothing, no. Um, and then obviously when he was a bit, my belly was a bit bigger, then he would move around at the same time every morning. He would move around, so it was like a constant connection between me and him. With Jaden, he's always been my baby and always will be. Honestly, like the connection you have with your kids is just.
Don't say you're first, because your next baby will hear this podcast in the future and be like, sorry, mom.
Oh God.
Throughout those 9 months, but what was his dad like?
I mean, for the pregnancy, we're pretty much not together. I think it only hit him when Jaden was actually born, and he went to see him, and he was like, okay, this is real now. Like, it's actually happened. He didn't see me much, and he wouldn't really like get the feel of things. So yeah, when he saw him, and his parents did as well, it was like big wow. Like, yeah, somos papás or grandparents or whatever. So it was a big impact on him, to be fair. It's funny because the day that Jaden was born, he was doing his last GCSE exam. Imagine.
Oh God.
And he wasn't at Jaden's birth either, so it was just me, my mom, and my auntie. And
I can, like, obviously not being there, but I can kind of picture the shock of the life, because I've seen pictures of Jaden when he was little and he is the spitting image. It's like literally a reflection of his dad. And it's like, you know, when you walk in, like normally you have your babies and you're like, you're trying to like ver un parecido. Like when they're babies, they don't really look like anyone, and it's just kind of like, you know, freshly new. Nah, boy, Jaden came out and was like, yes, I am my dad's child.
Do you know what? When his grandmom saw him, Jaden did a poo, right? When they were visiting. So she was like, oh, can I change him? She was all like excited and stuff. She was like, can I change him? So anyway, she got changing him. And then she goes, oh my God. And I was like, what happened now? We all looked at her like, what happened? She was like, tiene las mismas cuevas de mi hijo. I was just like, are you serious? Like, how are you gonna say that out loud? Like my mom can't unsee that now. Like,
oh why do they always come dropping these comments, please? You know, when my son was born, it was the same thing. My mom was like, oh my God, ese pipi tan grande, is it like his dad's? And I'm sitting there like, excuse me, did you just ask what you just, like, am I hearing correctly? They always come with the inappropriate comments.
I mean, my mom was like kind of looking at me like, really?
But that's so crazy. It puts it into perspective, like how young you guys were, because like this guy is fully finishing his GCSEs while his son is being born. back in those days, well, even still now, like to some families, that's like un insulto para las familias that when your daughter comes. In reality, like we've seen so many teenage pregnancies that these people are out there actually living their best life, doing amazing things. There's people that finished school when they were pregnant, graduated when they were pregnant, and they're out here genuinely being such a good example for their children. And it just goes to show that your life doesn't finish because you've had a child at whatever age. And obviously now you know, doing your makeup and, you know, your career in that, it's like, do you know what? Yeah, you had your child really young, but what example are you giving him now? Look how hardworking you are, lo has sacado adelante, and your parents, I'm sure, or I mean, I don't know, from what I've heard and seen, they can't say one bad thing about you, like, oh, she just left her child to our responsibility, because there is certain cases like that. And I think because the thing is, motherhood is not for everyone. Some people, it might take them a little bit longer to, you know, hold the reins to their life and to actually raise a child.
It's actually
You know,
crazy you say that because when I had literally just found out I was pregnant, I went one day into college. I don't even know how many A levels I was doing. I was like doing 5 or 7 A levels. And then I went into college crying. I was literally in bits. And then there was these two girls I would go to. They were like, "Oh, why are you crying and stuff?" And I told them the whole story, and I was just literally like lit in tears. And then one of the girls says to me, "Well, that's easy. I've done it so many times. Just throw yourself through the stairs. You'll be done with it soon." And I was just like, "What?" I looked at her like, I think that's when I stopped crying. I just wiped my tears quickly. I was like, "What did you just say? Like, you can't be saying that." And then she was like, "Yeah, it's easy. Like in a day, it will all be done with." I was like, "You could literally kill yourself and you're gonna kill your baby." Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, and there was just so many people saying so many things at once to me. I thought I was going crazy, honestly. I'm either gonna go crazy or something because it was just way too much.
It's
Like,
actually mental, you know. Throw yourself down the stairs. Like, that's the easiest option. Like, how? What if you throw yourself down the stairs and you break your neck? Then what? How is that easy?
that's karma coming right back at you.
Like, what the hell?
Was that even
I
part?
just
Was that even part of your thought process at the time?
I remember one day coming in crying to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I can't be a mom. What am I gonna do? What life am I gonna give him? Like, literally, like, ¿qué voy a hacer?" I have nowhere to like lay myself on. Like, literally, I lived in my parents' house. My parents' house, I had a little room. Yeah, like it was a nice little room, but it was just like there was no room for a baby. I didn't have nothing for myself. So at some point, I thought to my mum, "I'm gonna have the baby," because my mum, the first thing my mum said to me was like, "You are not going to give that baby up. Like, abort the baby." So I said, "Okay, how about I give it to adoption?" Because I just can't do this. I was like, "Mom, I can't give like the baby what I want to give him. I'm only 16. I don't even know what to do for myself. Like, I no sé cocinar, no sé hacer esto." And she was just like, "Se calla y lo va a tener ya y ya." Like, you know, like she was just like, "No, you're gonna have the baby." I was like, "But I don't know how to." And that's when I was just like, I think that's when I panicked. And I was just like, I don't think I can give this baby what he needs. But then I think it was just like a moment where I just like, I kind of like, como que thought everyone's speaking to me. Yeah, I think that's when my mom sent me Colombia, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm having this baby. We're gonna be all right." And then, yeah, I think going Colombia helped me a lot because it kind of let me get myself together. Um, and then obviously I got to connect with Jaden even like con más tranquilidad. I think I was more like at ease. And yeah, I think from there onwards it was just like, yeah, we're gonna be all right. And then I came back. They gave me a midwife, and then she referred me onto the YMCA in Stockwell. From there, they were like God sent. They were angels to me over there. Like from there, I got a nice little studio flat for me and Jaden.
Mama, I love you. What is it to be a young mum and a single mum? Was that really hard for you?
It was very hard. I think pregnancy was hard because you would think, oh, like, you know, you're going to have your partner with you, living with you, all these things like your body changing, um, going to scans alone, buying clothes alone, and doing this like baby shower, everything. I practically did it all on my own. And if it wasn't because of my parents, I don't know where I'd be. Yeah, that was really hard. And then after I had him, we were together, but we weren't. So it was just kind of like a thing where it was an on and off thing. That was hard as well because he was studying. When I'd stay over to at his mum's house, I'd be like, okay, you kind of need to help me out the baby. And then he'll be like, no, I need to go to school tomorrow. I can't. So it would just be like, oh, like it was still all on me, even if we kind of was together. I mean, it's been really hard, but como todo, I think everyone goes through struggles. And I mean, nothing's easy, nothing's perfect either. So I think it's just a part of how it had to be, you know?
Did you know about like post-depression in that time? Post-depression, postnatal depression, and
Yeah, they did mention it, but I didn't go through that. I kind of had other things going on that didn't kind of allow me to go through that. I don't know how to explain it.
yeah.
My problems were kind of just different, more like relationship problems, and it wasn't so much about the baby or about me. It was just more like the relationship around me. But there was a lot of information, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was saying to Erica over the weekend actually that she felt that, you know, what my mom says is the right way because obviously she's done it before twice, and you know, you go with what your parents are telling you because there was probably not enough, well, or I don't know if maybe you felt like there wasn't enough information, but obviously now you can just go on the internet and Google anything and find things. And even us now that we Google and while doing the podcast, we've come across things that we had no idea even existed or that mothers experience. So if you take it back to almost 10 years ago, it's like, was there any of that? And sometimes I think to myself, is it us that estamos llenas de bobadas? Because I'm pretty sure our grandparents didn't. I'm
Did
pretty
you
sure
guys
our
do this al
grandparents didn't.
medio?
I didn't know.
I did it. Literally. I
How
nearly
was
died. I nearly died. I was just like, is this even like human? Like, can anyone human do this? Because I don't think anyone can survive it. Mom was like, yeah, I did it. I did it twice. And I was like, Mom, how? Like, they wrapped me around a bed sheet. They put una faja. They wrapped everything all around. They put me underneath las cobijas, the covers, right? And then they put un chocolate caliente underneath this. You know the lion cobijas? Those ones, right? The big fluffy ones as well. I think there was about two cobijas in there. So there was no one bit of air going into those cobijas, right? I'm there like that, and then they go,
oh my
"Oh,
God.
you need to stay in." I was like, "But I need to breathe out." That's me trying to like put about my mouth out a little bit to try to get a little bit of air, and they were like, "No, you need to stay in there because you need to get all your air out of your belly." And I was like, "What air though?" Like they're like, "Yeah, the air that you sucked in within all your
Are you
pregnancy."
sure it wasn't pussy fart?
They bought me un sancocho caliente, el chocolate caliente, some tea thing that they put in water. Oh, listen, I felt at some point I was like, no, there's my gentleman. I'm already here. Like, this is it. This is the end of me. I can't do it. And then I will remember Jaden crying because he would be allowed to be with me just for like breastfeeding. But from then onwards, like he had to be outside. I was just like, oh God, this is like literally hell. And then I couldn't do it fully. It was meant to be the whole night for like a good, I don't know, 12 hours, I think they said. I couldn't do it. I said, Mom, I give up. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have air in my belly for the rest of my life because I just can't do it no.
You see, you know that, yeah, like every time I hear El Salmerio, everyone does it different. I had a girl that I knew, and like when I was pregnant, she was explaining how her one was done, and her one was done. She had to like step over like a bucket with like extremely hot water that had like leaves. Y ese humo se le metía adentro so the air could come out. But also, the baby had to be in the room with her. And I was like, wait, hold on. That Salmerio thing stinks. And she was like, yeah, I know. Like, and the baby kept crying. And I'm like, and you just allowed this? Like, what is going on? I'm like, if I was you, I would have called the health visitor and be like, excuse me, they're trying to do something to my child. The peer pressure that we go through to do so much of this juju shit.
I asked my mum, was like, Mum, does it even work? Like, after these few years that you, like, we're in 2021 now. I was like, Mum, are you sure it works? Because the next time I have a baby, I don't think I'm going through this. Like, Travali would literally, my fiance would look at me like, you've gone cuckoo. Like, that's it, we've lost you. Because I don't think he'll just cuss me, honestly.
No, I remember my mum tried it with my first, and I was like, are you alright? Because I remember back then, like, my mum was very, you know, like, the one that people can't carry the baby with the period. So, like, this is when I had the argument with my mum and my dad, because my dad would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to stand at the door and I'm going to ask every woman that comes in, are you on your period? And I was like, Dad, that's so inappropriate. And he was like, well, we have to. And I was like, that is a bit extreme. Like, come on. And then I was like to my mum, because like my suegro was very like against it. Like, he's like, I don't believe in that shit. So me and my suegro were proper like, okay, so if the midwife comes and she carries the baby, how are we going to ask her, is she on her period? What if I get on my period? Can't I carry the baby? And then it's some, I remember with my second one, my other friend, she carried Caden when he was born, and her auntie was like, oh, no, la niña le va a salir yo no sé qué because you can't carry a newborn baby. And I was like, what on earth is up with us Colombians? Like, why are we so full of shit? Like, honestly.
Oh my God, that happened to me. And my little cousin, she came out perfectly fine. When I found out I was pregnant, I went to visit my son's little cousin. She was like probably 2 weeks old, and we were on the bed, and obviously everyone's like touching the baby and just watching it sleep. And then my mom was like, oh, don't let anyone that's pregnant hold her, because new first time moms that are pregnant shouldn't hold a newborn. And there I was holding her, like feeling guilty as hell because I had just found out like the day before, and I was like, oh my God, it's something gonna happen to her. But I never knew this, and then my mom's there telling me this, and there I'm sweating like, oh my God, no, we need to go. And she's fine. She's like the chunkiest, healthiest baby.
Or have you not heard of when you carry the baby and que lloran, and that means that you're pregnant?
I can't. Like, you see that? Like, I just can't. Like, what on earth is wrong with us? Like, someone must have dropped every single Colombian on their head for us to have so much superstition.
When my mom was asking me about my period and I carried the baby and the baby started crying, I thought, this is it. Like,
nah, for me, it's like, you know what Erica's saying about the period and the carrying? That you have to put your saliva on their like little wrists and on their forehead and their chest and their feet. And then you have to suck your finger and put it inside the baby's mouth. That same day that we went to see my new baby cousin, my sister was on her period. It had just come, and my mom was telling her, you have to rezarle a la bebé. And then she was like, and my mom was like to my sister, y ahora, put your finger inside your mouth and then put it inside the baby. And I was like, excuse me. And I was telling my cousin's girlfriend, I was like, are you going to let her do that? Don't let her do that. Like, you don't know what my sister's had in her mouth. Not that she's had anything, you know, awkward, but how?
No, do you know what? When Jess went to have her baby, I went Colombia, and you know el corral que uno le pone al niño en el pie? That you have to get it from these indios in Colombia. So I went to get one, and I went to el centro because they were like, yeah, en el centro, like, ellos le hacen le rezan al este. The man was like, oh, what are you going to be to the baby? And I was like, oh, I'm just his auntie. So he made me hold it in my hand, y era rezando ahí, and this man spat on my hand. Spat, and I was like, and my husband was standing there, and he was like, what's going on? And then he was just going like that to it, and I was like, nah, like, I can't believe this man just fully spat on my hand. And I remember telling Jess that when I brought it back, and I was like, no le aconsejo que le pongas al bebé because it's been spat on by this indio that swears that he must be God or something. But I don't understand. I don't know why, what is wrong with us, honestly. Or mal de ojo. Like, how do you know who's going to give you mal de ojo? And it's like, oh, don't let...
No lo mire, tápelo para que no lee nada. I'm like... or that person is looking too much. Just put that cobija on top. Put that cobija. Oh.
Honestly, we are something else. Can you imagine... Can you imagine you being on a bus and your mum like, Carolina, tapa el niño que le van a hacer mal de ojo. And you're like, Mum, it's just an old lady looking at him, like, relax.
So, obviously, you said that he's like becoming, you know, a teenager and he's entering those like troublesome years. Like, at this present moment in 2021, what is your biggest fear of raising a boy?
They're literally endless. I think my biggest fear was for him to get into a wrong crowd. I mean, I'm already cansona. I classify myself de las mamas cansonas. I'm top of the list. But I'm constantly like, who are you talking to? Why are you doing that? What music are you listening to? You know, I'm constantly on top of him, but I don't mean bad. I think I'm just trying to get him into that little bubble so he doesn't go anywhere or listen to anything bad, or, you know, try and protect him out for that world out there. My biggest fear would be for him to just go into the wrong path. And, you know, now we see so many kids like gangs, and even kids that don't get into gangs, they're just being stabbed for no bloody reason. Like, I think every time that the news and they bring out these stories, it's just like, God, like this little boy was 14 or 16, and you just don't want your son or daughter to ever go through anything like that, you know. I just want him to be a good boy, forever mommy's boy.
I asked this because probably sure you've seen it, that, you know, it's been going around on Instagram of this 13-year-old, was she 13, Erica, little girl on Snapchat advertising who wants to go stab up and beat up her boyfriends because he told her off for sending another man nudes. A whole 13-year-old was sending another guy nudes, and her boyfriend obviously didn't like it. So she said, what did she offer? Like £160 or 148 and 93 pence.
But she didn't want no one to kill him. She just wanted them to stab him in the arm.
Scare him.
Or scare him.
And he died. They stabbed him to death.
That's so scary, honestly. And I think this is when like parents need to be more careful when they turn like teenagers. That's why I say it doesn't get easier. Trust me, it does not get easier when you're constantly having to look over their shoulders. And we were teenagers once as well, and we know how silly we can be. We know how mischievous, like how cheeky we can be. I was so cheeky. And that's why now I think back to, I'm like, Dios mío, que Dios me ayude con Jaden, because I'm just like, I know what I did, and I know that this kid's like nowadays, they're just even crazier.
Well, imagine who sends nudes at the age of 13 and then sets up their boyfriend and then kills him. And the girl was laughing about it. And they were like, oh yeah, RIP, and then funny and like, oh well, kind of thing. It's like, and me and Eric were having this conversation that people that say, oh, you need to raise your daughter to be like respect. I'm sorry, but you also need to raise your son well, and your daughter the same way. They're the other way.
No, it's the other way. So like, there's a lot of memes that, you know, like, because there's a lot of like things that
because everyone says men are trash, basically
hit women and stuff. So they're like, you need to like check your son, and blah, blah. But I also think it's the same way, the other way around. Like, you need to check your daughter and make sure you're right. Because like, this is the thing, Carolina, like, we're all raising boys, us three, right? And we're on the same boat as you, you know, the fear of the unknown of, you know, my son walking just across the street and someone not liking him, that could be over for him. And that's how scary it is now in 2021. Your son can literally be at a party minding his own business, and someone, or he looked at someone, or he stepped on a trainer, and then un mal golpe, and then that's it. And these kids nowadays roll with knives, roll with things that are unimaginable. But then we come down to, you normally think, what if my son settled down with a nice girl? How are we sure now that these girls are nice? Because the generation that are being breeded right now are not nice. And I'm not talking for all of them, because some of them are lovely, but just take on board, like, this girl. The boy was doing nothing. All he was doing was stepping up for his relationship. He's not a mug. You know, if you were in that situation and you caught your man sending dick pics to someone else, you're gonna retaliate.
But these are kids. They shouldn't even be doing that in the first place.
Exactly. But just to think that it's not the first time I've seen a girl set up her boyfriend because he's done something. And it's like, okay, so hang on a minute. So when is it that we're going to be a bit relaxed and think, okay, well, maybe if my son gets with a nice girl, at what point do we know this girl's nice? This probably the boy's mum thought, yeah, she's all right. You know, he's not rolling with bad people. He's more concentrated into his girlfriend and, you know, como que away from trouble, because that's how we see it. But look how he ended up. Stabbed.
And then people say, oh, you need to raise your boys correctly. I'm sorry, but what kind of girl are you raising that she's actually paying to set her boyfriend up?
I think it goes both ways, to be fair.
Absolutely. We're not raising genders. We're raising humans for the world. Like, there's psychopath females as well. But is that what we want to create in the next generation? It's just fucked. And then we saw, what was it, a video of this like 14-year-old giving head on the Central Line,
on the train.
Like, I know we were young and wild and, but I don't think I feel like if you look back and think about all the wild stories you ever heard from your aircoma whores or hoes or sluts or however they used to call them, no one went and did such a thing on a train. Like, I think the maddest thing must have been sex in a bush where no one's watching. But this is a whole Central Line. And my 14-year-old daughter is out there just blowing the guy off. Do you even know who's coming back to your house?
Well, this is the thing. Most parents don't, because they're one person at home and a complete different outside. So at what point do we only have control to a certain extent? And that's the scary part. And I think with everything, really, we want to protect our kids. If I could, I would be Joel's shadow and Caden's shadow, but I can't. Like, I have to let them breathe at one point. But that, obviously, like Carolina says, that's when it doesn't get better, because you think, oh, the newborn stage, you know, like the sleepless night, it's going to come back. When they say, oh, I'm going to go to my first party, you're going to be up at night thinking, oh my God, is he going to get back from the party? Do you want me to go pick you up?
I think now I feel guilty at the times that I used to put my mum through trouble. Like, and I honestly, there's been nights that I've kind of like thought about it, and I'm just like, how bad was I? Like, and obviously now that you get to be a parent, it's just, you think about all these things, praying and hoping that your kids, obviously, they will go through teenage, like, years, or lo que les da la loquera, pero que no sea like as crazy or as bad as these kids now. Like,
if your son was to come home at the age of 16 and say he's got someone pregnant, do you feel like you would let his dad have any say in it?
I don't know. I guess because now he has kind of taken on that role that he should have taken many years ago. He has stepped up. Like, life has basically told him, you need to be a dad. Why? Because Jaden has also gone through like the stages where, when we broke up officially, he went through all those behavior stages where at school he just wanted to like have attention and wanted to get himself into trouble. And then that's when I would call him and be like, oh, hello, your son is being naughty, so he's had to step up, and he does see the little young boy that he's turning up to be, and he sees him, the music, the change in him, la ropa que se pone, that the way he walks, the way he talks, stuff like this, I think kind of wakes him up to be like, okay, yeah, my little boy is growing up. And I think now, in a position like that, I think he would have to speak up, because I don't think, myself, I'm more like the soft one. Even though I do have to be the hard one at times, I would allow for him to speak up to him and say, you did wrong. But then again, I think it takes for us to to prepare him to be a teenager, to speak to him, to educate him. And yeah, I was educated, but you know, things happen. And at the end of the day, we're all humans. If Dios no quiera that was to happen.
I think for the most part, it's like you've carried most of the weight in the parenting. So it's only fair that he also takes a responsibility, because it's a lot for just you, for it to be in your shoulders, and basically like, how do I react to my son, you know, becoming a parent at the same age that I was becoming a parent? I can't be the only one making this decision. Like, his dad needs to have some input and kind of like meet eye to eye. So I definitely think you're right in allowing him to, you know, have a say, because then it can turn sour, because at the end of the day, you guys are always a family. That's something that a lot of people, even when they break up, they think, oh, well, no, I have no attachments to this person anymore. You do. Unfortunately, like, there's a big attachment there, which is your son. So I give it to you because it's a lot.
From the beginning, I kind of always said, even though things are a bit sticky, obviously in the beginning, everything was really hard. I always said, at some point, we need to be able to just speak to each other and communicate and be able to work together, because he's going to be in my life forever. Así como hacía, like my great used to say, their kids are yours forever. The same way, whenever he gets married, whenever he does this, whenever he does that, we're always going to be around each other. So it's a thing where we have to just live with each other, you know, like, even though sometimes I want to kill him, sometimes he wants to kill me, but you know, it is what it is, and we just get on with it. And the responsibility is both of us. I didn't make Jay on it on my own. And just like any other child, I think all parents are responsible for their kids, and it's not just the one or the other that takes the most.
Mama, I love you. Is there anything in your journey that you would change?
I wasn't prepared for this one.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just taking things easier, and I wouldn't be so hard on myself. Ooh, getting in my feelings. I need to have a sip. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I would be more easy on myself. I would love myself a bit more. I think there's a lot of relationships that take a lot away from you. And for example, obviously I was with Jay's dad and I wasn't in a good place. And I think I would go back and tell myself, you're going to be all right. You know, like, just love yourself a bit more and you'll see how things will like just get better. And that's obviously, it took me a very long time to do that, but I finally did. And yeah, it felt amazing. Literally, it was like I was reborn. But I wouldn't change not having Jaden. Never, I would never change that. I would just love myself throughout that whole process, because I feel like I put myself down a lot.
I felt a little bit touched there, I'm not gonna lie, because
Yeah,
like, just remembering everything that you told us, and probably things that only you know as well. It's like, it's a lot to go through. And just before Erica gets in there, I read this quote when we were gonna do the episode, and I just put it out there for any young mum as well, is that being a young mum means we met a little early, but it also means I get to love you a little bit longer.
I remember that quote as soon as I had him. I think I found it on the internet, and I was just like, I'm going to cherish this forever. Because it is true. Yeah, he's literally, he looks like my brother, and he acts like my annoying little brother sometimes, but he is literally the love of my life.
We love to finish the episode on a golden tip. Now, we've touched on a lot today, so it could be for a mum, a person that's starting out as a makeup artist, anything you want to add your little sparkle in there.
Love yourself before you love anyone else, and don't look for love without finding love in your own.
Damn, Daniel.
You heard it here first.
Wow, yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Sometimes we lose ourselves in trying to love another person, and we urge for that love to be given back, and we lose ourselves in that process. So I agree. Absolutely.
Young girls that just, I think I can count myself as one of them, that I I was looking for love where there wasn't love throughout my childhood. I just kind of went off the rails. Any young lady, if you feel like you don't feel loved, you feel alone, find that in yourself. Find it through God. Find it through, the people around you. You will find that love and you will appreciate yourself before you go and find a man's love. Honestly, you don't need that. You need to love yourself first.
Mic drop.
Mum's Code out. Mama's Code.